Greetings everyone, it's Valerie here. I'm coming to you live from my post that I said last night. I was going to take you through how I was going to get myself out of procrastination hole, because I've actually got a big procrastination basket. So I'm going to take you through. I didn't Wikipedia this, I didn't Google this. This is not therapy, by the way. This is not clinical levels of procrastination it's just garden variety. I've got myself into a bit of a hole. I can tell you why I've gotten myself into a bit of a hole, and literally I'm going to put this down on the board because they're the steps that I'm going to be working on today as I get myself out of the hole. So why is Valerie in procrastination hole? Largely due to some emotional barriers, right? It's emotional. I've been working on some stuff. I've got my regular work, admin. This is all admin related, right? I've got my regular work. I don't like administration. So the first thing to say is, why is Valerie in procrastination? Oh, I've got to write that a little bit lower. Can you see that? Yeah, procrastination. This is not going to be an exhaustive reasoning. Sometimes they're not in general. There are some clinical issues happening. It could be personality. It could be perfectionism. There could also just be a general kind of a stuck, right? I want to talk to you today about this reason, because that's where I am today. I'm actually stuck. The reason why I'm in procrastination hole is because I am stuck. Why do I get stuck? Well, sometimes there are some emotional reasons going on, meaning that I either don't like what I need to do. Now, that could be a motivation issue. Could also be, quite frankly, a rebellious issue. Sometimes it's a confidence. There's a lot of that happening there for me, and the reason why I'm procrastinating. And there can be some other things, maybe that I'm a bit stressed or whatever, but at this point in time today, it's not so much that I'm dealing with a procrastination that comes from not liking or not feeling motivated. It's actually coming from a lack of confidence, right? I've got some things in my procrastination bucket that I don't have the confidence that what I'm going to do is actually going to work out. So I'll just erase that for a minute. If you want to actually unpack that a little bit. Hi, Wei Hong from Singapore. Thanks for watching me. Confidence, probably a little bit from a fear of failure. Probably from a fear of rejection. Probably from a fear of, this is the common one for me, this is just a dumb idea. This is a dumb idea. Do you know what it is? It's the need for validation. Is this a valid thing that I'm pursuing? Is it a dumb idea? So here you go. Insight into my inner world at the moment for procrastination, fear of failure, possibly going to get rejected for some of the ideas that I'm putting through, and maybe they're really just dumb ideas anyway. Now, for today, because if I continue, if I continue to unpack this, quite frankly, it's going to be a very convenient way for me to procrastinate further, okay? So today, what I need to do actually is actually to do something that we call acceptance. I'm not going to tango with my emotions today. I'm not going to unpack where it's all coming from, because I know that that's just a very clever way for me to procrastinate further. I'm just going to practice acceptance and say, I accept that those emotions are there. I'm going to mindfully let them go, which is to say, I know what the thoughts are. They've been there for a long time, but I'm not going to engage and wrestle with them. I'm actually just going to accept, mindfully let go that. And so that already happened yesterday. I went for a very long walk to get to my reflective space. This morning, I started off with my own reflections, and I'm launching into getting myself out of my procrastination hole. So the first thing I did Oh, I'm getting used to this writing stuff. The whole reason why I swapped to an iPhone was so that I can do this. Okay, number one, I need to do a brain dump. This is legit my list for myself going forward. I need to write to the brain dump so you can see it. Where is it? Brain dump. Now, you're not going to judge what you're going to write in your brain dump. You are literally not going to feel any shame or embarrassment or guilt because you're letting go of those emotions. You don't wrestle with them. You're just going to put a brain dump of all the things that you need to get through. Okay, so that's the stage where I will be going through. The next thing is I'm going to actually sort them into the hard to do basket, the mechanical basket, and the schedule basket. There's no science to this. This is just what I'm doing for myself today. So what I mean by the hard basket, also known as the too hard basket, but I'm not going to put them all in the too hard basket. I'm actually going to say sort them out now from your brain dump, and they can be on Post-its. I often like to use Post-its and then I recategorize everything. They're the ones that I've procrastinated because I'm actually really afraid. Let's be honest. I'm afraid of the outcome. And so I've made all these lovely excuses for why they should happen next week or next week or next week or next week. But my email inbox is very clever and it's telling me how many days I've actually let it sit in procrastination basket. So I need to tackle this first. And guess what? I've already done that. I'm not that much of I'm not that courageous. I didn't do that bit live. I dealt with the hard ones first. I took some deep breaths. I heard all the stuff in my head that was going about, this is going to be a disaster. Let it go. Made the phone calls, sent out the emails, sent out the text messages. First thing in the morning, hard things done. What I am now going to be doing, hello Kate, thank you for joining me, is I move from the hard things to the mechanical things. Okay, what does mechanical things mean? They're the things, because I've just dealt with some really emotionally difficult, hard things, I'm going to move into a space that doesn't require a lot of engagement from my part. They're just things that have piled up on my to-do list because this was building and then this got lumped on it and then it became too big of a mountain. So now I'm going to have to chop them off at the roots. Okay? That is, yes, the email inbox is on there. I've got some housekeeping things around the practice that I've got to do. I've got some, bills I've got to pay. I've got some filing that I need to do. Now, in the mechanical part, what I'm doing is I'm actually just giving myself a psychological reprieve without stopping. Okay? I'll have to let you know before I do this, I'm actually going to go and eat. That helps too. After I do the mechanical stuff, I've got to deal with the more cognitively taxing things. It's the stuff that actually needs some deep focus for. I've actually got to figure out, some of you would use this. You often get them mixed up, but you've got to delegate, you've got to delete, you've got to do. And then I think there's the ones where you discard, right? So it's kind of putting in some cognitive thinking into what are all the else is left on my to-do list. Which of the ones I'm going to delegate out and make a plan and communicate that and have a follow-up plan for that. Which are the ones that I'm actually going to have to do. Now this one for me, because it comes at the end of my to-do list, is actually the cognitive stuff. There are reports that I need to write. There are proposals that I need to put through together. There are some delay, thank you. All the way from Singapore. I always forget that one. That's because I've delayed too much. I can't delay anymore. What was I saying? What other examples of mechanical things? Cognitive things. Proposals I've got to put through. Some of my team have sent me through material that requires me to analyze and look at it and provide some input. So I've actually got to sit down and do that. Delegate, do. The delay is the schedule. Now that's different from the procrastination. That's actually for me and my very able colleague, Kathy Atkinson, whom you may have spoken to, helps me with this because she takes charge of my diary. And once I've done a dump like this and I've decided what are all the micro steps that I need, Kathy helps me sometimes to schedule those micro steps into my diary. It's like, Valerie, this is the point where the invitations need to be sent out. Or Valerie, here's where you need to make a decision about the thing. So that's in my delay. The delete, that I love that. Very often once you've done a brain dump, you actually realize that there are a bunch of things that you may have thought were urgent or important, but once you've dealt with all this stuff, they will drop off, the delete. So they drop off, right? So that's my get myself out of procrastination whole plan for today. I often have a clearinghouse approach to this stuff. It works really best when I have that clear, in other words, a whole day, once a fortnight or even once a month to go through this process and do a clearinghouse approach. Because I was dealing with so many these emotional things, I procrastinated the clearinghouse. And so I'm actually having 3 days of clearinghouse to get on top of this stuff. So just some thoughts. See if there are any comments. Do you have any questions? Anything you want to say? I will return to the video if anybody does. But here is my approach. I'm going to go and eat now, and then I'm going to have to get moving with mechanical. Catch you later.